Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. The I-Team's Bianca Bono partnered with investigative journalists from around the country to look into federal safety records. She also talked to crash victims who are demanding action and accountability.
Most terrifying thing I ever experienced in life.
For Demetrius Ivy, the events of December 12th, 2022 are fuzzy.
I don't actually remember everything because after I got hit, I went out.
These photos fill in the gaps. Ivy was on the I-10 exit ramp in Phoenix near 7th Avenue, turning right, when a large tractor trailer pulled up next to him, also turning right. Ivy's attorneys argue in a lawsuit that truck driver cut the turn too tight, hitting the driver's side of Ivy's car.
I did have police asking me, are you okay and everything. I really didn't have much of a response to know if I was okay or not.
The lawsuit says the commercial truck was owned by a company called Solid Road Express, but it was pulling an Amazon trailer.
They do a great job of getting packages to people really quickly, but they sacrifice safety because of that.
Attorneys Ryan Skyver and Kellen Bradley are representing Ivy in a lawsuit against both Solid Road Express and Amazon, which both deny responsibility. Skyver and Bradley allege crashes involving Amazon are too common.
They have a lot of their own drivers, but when they can't meet that full demand, they need to go find third parties.
Amazon uses its own portal called Relay, allowing third-party carriers to haul freight loads on behalf of Amazon. An Amazon spokesperson says they have rigorous safety criteria for carriers, and once approved, they can book assignments.
Traditionally, big shippers like Walmart and Target directly contract with larger carriers.
Alex Scott, an associate professor of supply chain management at the University of Tennessee, is skeptical of some of the carriers working for Amazon through the app.
They're working with small carriers, new carriers, those without much of a safety record, often people new to the industry.
In Ivy's case, the I-Team found that Solid Road Express was a new entrant in the U.S. Department of Transportation.
So they're not rated or they're considered unrated before the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration does an audit to determine if they're safe or not.
The crash between Solid Road Express and Ivy involves unauthorized subcontracting, where a carrier outsources a job to another carrier without Amazon's approval. Amazon says it is in direct violation of policy and they work to police it, but it happened. 1 year after the crash, Solid Road Express was issued an out-of-service order and its new entrant status was revoked. Ivy is not alone.
Debris was on the roadway and I had to slow down and the rest was history.
In October of 2022, Shane Baer was driving on the I-17 in Bumblebee when he said he was rear-ended by a truck driver.
I would say pretty much the trunk ended up at the back seat of my car. It ended up pretty much totaling everything.
He also filed a lawsuit alleging the truck was owned by General Freight Lines, Inc., and it too was pulling an Amazon trailer.
It really is, an 80,000-pound truck going against a 1-ton car, and the truck always wins.
Based on General Freight Lines data from the past 2 years, the company has an out-of-service rate of 33%, 10 points higher than the national average. An out-of-service violation happens when a carrier doesn't pass safety regulations during a roadside inspection, immediately prohibiting the vehicle or driver from operating until the problem is corrected. An Amazon spokesperson says looking at out-of-service rates alone doesn't tell the whole story, especially for smaller carriers. The company is still listed as an Amazon carrier on the DOT's website.
The DOT does not have the resources to do in-depth investigations of all of these carriers on the road. So it's up to the shipper, the Amazons of the world, to make sure that the carriers that they are using are safe and responsible.
In Scott's research, he found that in 2024, Amazon worked with more than 11,000 different carriers. Compared to Costco, Target, and Walmart, Amazon used twice as many outside carriers as those retailers combined. After Scott looked at the number of carriers with unsafe hours of service and poor vehicle maintenance, he concluded that an inspected Amazon load had a carrier with a very high unsafe driving score 14% of the time, compared to Walmart at 5%.
So Amazon, if you compare to their peers, is generally hiring less safe carriers.
Amazon disputes Scott's methodology and declined to answer how many crashes its carriers have been in the past few years. A spokesperson said Amazon has invested over $2 billion in safety measures globally, implemented driver ID verification for every load, and updated equipment with industry-leading improvements. They add that one accident is too many. While we know there's still work to be done, we've implemented stricter thresholds. They believe their standards meet and often exceed legal requirements. As for Bear, he's had to undergo multiple surgeries due to the injuries he sustained in the crash. And Ivy has had to go through months of physical therapy. They and their attorneys want Amazon and its carriers to be held accountable. And as Amazon continues to grow, they hope the company becomes more selective when choosing who they allow to represent them on the road.
They can be a great company and offer a great service. What a responsible company should do is take responsibility, take accountability, and make some changes within their company so that these things don't happen as frequently.
Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thank you.